Today's episode is brought to you by Lipton Green Tea Citrus. When
Oh,
you need
Lord.
something to quench your thirst, crack into a Lipton Green Tea.
People, you should know by now, we are not sponsored with one view per video, but
It's what
that's
it
my
is.
that's my crazy daughter. Anyway, welcome everyone to the Friday Coffee Klatsch. I am your host, Danny,
And I am Artemis, also known as Maya.
and we are here to share our beverages, share a little chat, but we also front load with our fiber talk because the few people who subscribe to me, that's all they come for is yarn, and then they want to skip out. So let's get that taken care of right off the bat. Yeah. To Let's start with my non-existent projects. I have nothing. This is
Nothing.
our crochet along. We've been crocheting on a hoodie.
Oh, let me pull mine out
And
then.
this is the back. I'm doing a 3X for my daughter. This is the back. She
Of your
likes
daughter,
I
not
know
me.
this looks super wide, but she likes really loose. I know it looks wide, but she likes really loose, sloppy hanging hoodies. So I'm hoping this will
I'm gonna
do
need the
the
audience to keep an
job.
eye on my food and make sure my dogs don't get it. That is
You
the
look
job of the
you look like one of those TikToks where they say, "Watch my baby,
watch
please,"
my
and
baby
then they
for me.
go, "Yeah."
Yeah, I need you to watch my chicken
But
tenders, except
it
actually warn me.
this probably doesn't look any different from the last time I was on here, but I have actually been trying to do at least one row or two rows a night.
I see some progress. I'm taking a break on mine, so maybe you can catch up. Um,
Don't say you're
Also, I
taking
was
a
just
break because it just
kind of
makes
tired of
me
it.
want to take a break.
No, you're not allowed to take a break. You have not caught up.
Trust me, I've been looking. I got my eye on this Aaron baby hoodie that is calling my name off of YouTube. Look at yours, girl. I
Yeah,
like
so
the
I did.
stripes.
Yes, so I did the. So this is the bottom border edge, and then I did a solid of the persimmon. This is all Karen Simply Soft. So I did a solid of the persimmon, and then the charcoal, and then I went back to the persimmon because I felt like that was a wide enough stripe on the charcoal.
Hmm.
Now that I'm looking at it though, I wonder if I want to just do some alternating kind of variegated stripes, just
Just
like whenever I
random.
feel like it. Yeah,
Hmm.
as
It's
long as the persimmon is the primary color, because I'm gonna do the charcoal as the primary color in the sleeves. I feel like I might just kind of do whatever, just go with the
it's
flow.
your hoodie. Just do it however you want to.
It is. It's gonna end
Oh,
up looking all kinds of. I mean, it can't look that crazy. It's only two colors.
oh. I'm. By the way, I wanted to point out I'm still on the first skein. This is what's left of the first skein. I don't know if you
Mm.
remember what the skein looked like. I had 392 yards of mainstays, which is Walmart's um, store brand yarn for anyone who isn't aware. And I'm using it because basically I have some of it left over from an ill-fated
That's what's left of this skein of persimmon.
so that skein of persimmon made it all the way up the back. That's cool.
I mean, not all the way. I think I'm
Well, I
still
mean,
on
because you're
only
doing
in
some charcoal, but still.
yeah, because I'm in the 40s on my rows, and so it got about this far, and I'm what is it
So
here?
how many skeins of charcoal have you used? Because I've according to the pattern, it should take about 7 skeins, 7 or 8 skeins all together to do this hoodie in the
So
3X.
this you can't even see it. So this is my skein of charcoal,
Uh-huh.
but um as we recall, I can't remember if I said this on camera or if I just told you this, but I started with the skein of charcoal here, and then when I went to do the stripe, my silly butt opened up a new skein of charcoal because I was just like, "Oh, time to get some charcoal to work on this other section," and I just completely forgot to grab the
Forgot.
skein that I had already opened,
You silly
and so
girl.
it would be a little bit further, but it's I would say I'm a bit over half, a bit over
Cool.
half.
Cool, 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 cool. And how many skeins did you buy?
Um,
I mean, did you look at the yardage that the pattern needed, or did you
yeah,
just randomly buy skeins?
I looked at the yardage, split it in half, and got half of each color.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to say I've got like 6 skeins of each, but I'd have to go check my box, which is in the office
Oh,
right
6
now.
skeins of each, and you should have plenty.
Yeah.
I don't think I have 7 skeins of mainstays in this house. I have a project that needs to be unraveled. I can't remember how many skeins I used in that project before I gave up on it. That ill-fated oh, what's the sports team now? What was it? St. Louis?
I would not be able to help you.
Whatever football team is black and gold and they have white on their logo. Cannot remember.
If
Cannot.
somebody watching this video later figures that out, please put it in the comments because I am
I
not a
mean,
sports
I
girly.
have the pattern somewhere because I actually spent $3 whole because
Look at you.
I was gonna. Well, that was like
30
5
years
years.
ago?
No, about 5 years ago. It was when our neighbor still lived here.
I'm trying to think which. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember the neighbors.
So, I was gonna make that hoodie, that blanket, but I gave up. I gave up. It was too much. I gave up. I still might try it again, but even if I do make it, I don't know anybody who's a fan of that team other than the one person I intended it for. So I don't know. But anyway, so after I finish this ball at rambling is to say after I finish this what's left of this skein, I'm gonna have to start doing some unrambling, I think, unless there's another half a skein ready for me to attack.
Yeah, I was looking for some black yarn because I was working on I was thinking about working on some more bandanas or something, and I needed some black yarn to go with some variegated or some white yarn, just a solid color yarn to go with some variegated yarn. And I went digging through one of my bags, and I completely forgot that I had started this. I was making myself a circle skirt in all black, and it was like
cool.
it looked like it was going really good, and I was just winging it. Like I fully did not have a pattern. I just made a waistband that fit around my waist and like just was winging it from there, like doing just a bunch of double crochets and stuff. But I stopped like working on it, and so now I'm like, do I want to just use the yarn that's attached to this and try to finish it, or do I want to unravel it? But that would be a lot of unraveling because the skirt is like it's like this long at this point. So it's like a mini skirt. It would be like a booty skirt, but
or a skater skirt, they call them now.
Yeah. Well, skater skirts like kind of cover your butt. And so the skirt, like if I were to put that on right now, it would not cover the cheeks. And so, but I wouldn't have that far to go. Like I would have a few rows to go to kind of cover up to make it more modest, if you will. But I don't know if I want to do those rows or just pull it out. Remind me next week and I'll try to bring it.
Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out. If you've gotten that far, set it aside and wait until you're ready to work on it again.
Remind me next week and I'll grab it. But I have been working on a few other things. Did you have anything else to show?
Girl, no.
Okay. Yeah,
the only thing that's why this is not a knitting and crochet show, because this is all I've worked on for the past few weeks. Oh, that is nice. I made
a beret.
I need the full screen you so I can look at that better.
I made it up where
I can see the colors now. Sorry, everybody, putting my face all up in the camera. I keep forgetting that these are new glasses, and really all I need to do is tilt my head. But I'm so used to my old glasses where I had to go like this to see everything. But what yarn? What yarn?
This was. Oh no! I've got another skein of it in the office. I want to say it's because I know I got it from Hobby Lobby. So I want to say it's I love this yarn, and the colorway was plum. And so it looks really nice. But I did something else with it too. So I did this, and then you saw a little bit of this while we were on our weekly family game night phone call. But I finished the panel that I was working on to make this purse because I wanted to do some like color work stuff. So I finished the panel. I wish that I'd chosen a different accent color, but I'm gonna show it off. It's wrinkled because you know we don't block in this house, so it is wrinkled.
Oh my goodness, you did such a great job.
Does it look good? Okay, because when I'm looking at it up close in my face, I feel like I can't see the roses. All I see are I can't see the pattern for the stitches. Is the issue that I'm having? But on camera, I can see it.
I can see the roses.
Okay, it looks a lot better on camera because this yarn has the variegated yarn has just like every once in a while you can see these like lighter blue stripes in the variegated. In those lighter blue stripes is a little bit of white, and so a couple of the sections I just cut the yarn and skip past the white, and a couple of sections I twisted the yarn so that the color that was blended into the white would show a bit more. I'm not sure which way I like better, but it does look so much better on camera.
I am so proud of you. That is great. I have done, you know me, I've done very little color work. All I can point to is that double stitched SpongeBob and the Wonder Woman blanket.
Do you want to see the back of it?
Which I did in okay. Girl.
I said I am not cutting and weaving in.
It's honestly not terrible though.
I said I am not cutting and weaving.
It's not terrible though.
And I'm going to, so what I'm doing is I've got this, and then I counted how many stitches this is across, and I'm making a matching back panel out of just the variegated yarn. And then I'm going to put I'm going to put a lining on the inside, so this isn't even going to be visible. Yeah. I'm just going to put a lining on the
inside. Why I said that's not terrible. It already doesn't look terrible. It's kind of what you would expect from, because remember, before I got heavily into the crochet and the knitting, I dabbled in cross stitch, and so cross stitch, the back of cross stitch always looks like that. There's no way to hide it.
Yeah,
the back across, I mean, you can minimize it, but there's no way to hide it. That's just what cross stitch.
Hey bro, yeah, this is my lunch.
Okay, we're supposed to be
I've got my lunch over here.
Watching the lunch so that the dog doesn't get it. Not for you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the front panel for a bag. I just need to finish the back panel, and then I'm gonna sew them up together and put a lining in them. But I'm like, now looking at it on camera, I'm very happy with how this turned out, because looking at it in person, I'm like, I can't see the pattern. But looking at it on camera, it looks very, very clear and visible.
You should be. You see, that makes me want to grab, if I wasn't already committed to this, it makes me want to grab that Avatar, The Last Airbender, those blankets I'm supposed to be making for your sisters.
That you started like 10 years ago?
That I started when they graduated high school, and one of them's already graduated college. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's everything. I think that's everything I've got. Yeah, the only other thing in there is the back panel. That's everything I've got for this week.
Okay, so you added a couple things to our list over here. Crochet fake plants. Explain yourself, ma'am.
I saw just one person posted on TikTok, and I was like, oh, I need to do this. Somebody posted their like sister had some like plants and they kept dying, and so they crocheted their sister a fake plant. And I was like, oh, girlies at the farmer's market would love that. If I crocheted a bunch of fake like hanging plants, like string of pearls and all kinds of other stuff. And I saw somebody else post, and this is just for them, but they made like some fake like lavender. I think they made it to like put on a pen or something. But I was like, bruh, if I can make some like fake lavender and put it in a little pot or whatever, I just want to make a bunch of fake plants.
Girl, the only thing I think of when I hear crocheted plants is dust.
Dust? What are you talking
about?
Because
if you have a crochet plant, you want to display it. So then you have it displayed in your house. It's going to gather dust. And then how are you going to clean it? If you try to put it in the washing machine, the plant's going to get all out of shape. I
Is it
mean,
really? Why would it get out of shape? Your clothes don't get out of shape when you wash them. You just pop that sucker out, dirt and all, throw it in the washing machine, let it air dry, and put it right back in the pot.
I just have a feeling it would get all wonky if you put it in the washing machine.
Well, we'll find out when
I
I
could
make
be
one. I'll
wrong.
throw it in the washing machine.
You do that. You do that. Okay. Now, have we've already discussed this next item, and I know you're not trying to do it for yourself. Crochet swimsuit.
We were talking about making shawls for. Oh, hang on. Ronald said, "Do it like the Beauty and the Beast rose. Put that mug under glass." Yes, you'll just make the fake plant and then just put a dome around it.
That is a thought. That is a thought.
But we were talking last week about making, because we're supposed to be wearing all white for our fancy dinner on the cruise, and so we were talking about making shawls. And I was like, well, I always have issues finding swimsuits for the cruise. Why don't I just make my own swimsuit? Then it'll be something that I want, and it'll be like, and I've made it, and it'll be cute. And I don't know. What if I just make my entire cruise wardrobe?
Yeah, like you're gonna do that between now and September.
Absolutely not. But a shawl and a
Absolutely not.
swimsuit I can do. A shawl and a swimsuit I can do though. I just need to find, because there's like the specific yarn that has like spandex kind of built into the
Mhm.
yarn, but I can't find it on like the Hobie website. I couldn't find it at Joann's. They didn't have it at Hobby Lobby. I like the only place that I've seen it is like Etsy and then like some kind of sketchy outer websites or whatever. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
why is this not more accessible? Is it really hard to make? Why is it not?
Well, all I'm saying is if you're gonna make yourself a bikini, you better get that yarn because I do not want you using
First of all, I'm not
sugar
using saggy
peaches
cotton.
peaches and
Absolutely
cream
not.
cotton and have it sagging off of you while we're out on a family vacation.
That's why I was looking specifically for that yarn, because I'm not using some saggy cotton. And as soon as I get into the ocean, the whole swimsuit's gonna look like a wet diaper. Absolutely not. But yeah, I was looking for the yarn, and I'm not making a bikini. I want to make a one piece. It's a no for me, dog. Okay, Ron, where it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it just out of spite now. Everybody is trying to put me down, trying to stop me from being great. I'm gonna do it.
Well, the thing is that I've seen crocheted swimsuits and they look nice, but then as soon as they get wet is the problem, unless you have the right yarn.
So I'm gonna try to buy the yarn. I'll see if I can find it. I'm gonna hopefully in some colors that I like. But and
All
I'm
right.
also, yeah, I'm not making bikini. I was gonna make, because there are lots of crochet like one piece
Uh-huh.
outfits just for
Well,
like bodysuits to
how
wear.
about you just crochet a bikini top and then get like a swim skirt or like those swim shorts that I got, those cute lacy swim shorts that I got.
But if crochet top, why not also crochet short?
Don't commit yourself to both. Just do one. It'll be
We'll see.
easier.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. So, what have we been playing? I see I'm the only one who put anything up there.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, let's finish our off camera conversation about why I've been playing so many train games. Okay. It I've not been playing a lot of train games. It's just that in board gaming, there are a lot of train games are almost their own um
Genre?
genre, and
It feels like it,
I'm
because every
and
time we
they're
talk to you,
usually heavy, and I've been afraid to try them because, like, you go on BGA, Board Game Arena for the uninitiated, you go on BGA and you look at this estimated time for this game, and it says 120 minutes. And even though I'm only playing it turn based, it's not like I'm sitting there for 120 minutes. When I see a game takes anything more than 30 minutes, to me, that's going to be a heavy game with lots of rules, or
mm,
as your sister says, welcome to the government.
mm,
And I am afraid to try them. But I decided, well, I'm just going to jump in the deep end, because like most people do fitness resolutions at the beginning of the year. I at the beginning of each year tend to go, oh, I'm going to start trying things that I don't normally try, get out of my comfort zone, so to speak.
Mm.
So I've been jumping into different games. Really, the only train games I'm playing are you keep hearing about the same game. We're playing um
Ticket to Ride.
thank you, Ticket to Ride. I kept my brain kept saying gateway game. I couldn't remember the name. Ticket to Ride. And the game that I am playing now is Railways of the World.
Mm.
And that's the one you keep hearing me talk about in frustration.
Yes, because every time we're playing, every time we have our Sunday game nights, all I hear is you saying, "Oh, I gotta take my turns, but I don't know where to put these trains. Oh, I don't have enough money to put these trains to where so I can go to St. Louis. How am I supposed to get there? Someone block my trains over here."
I forgot to plug my PC in. We're about to die. Keep talking.
Ooh. I mean, I don't have that much to say, except we still haven't tried. You got us the ticket to ride London. We still haven't had a chance to try it, but we've cleared our table off now because our table was full of D&D stuff. We've cleared our table off now, so now we might actually be able to play it.
You wait a minute. I got you that for Christmas. That was a month ago.
Okay, a
It has
month.
it has been a month, ma'am. A
Yeah,
month.
not everybody plays board games every single day, ma'am.
A month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you two don't have any kids. You don't go anywhere. You could play games.
How dare you say that right in front of my son? How dare you?
Whatever.
So rude.
Whatever. But let me see. I was going to show you my game here. Let's see if I can get it pulled up.
Meanwhile, I will be over here enjoying some
I'm not
nice, delicious.
I I I resent that, sir. I am not addicted to Ticket to Ride.
No, I agree with Ronald. You have been saying far too many times, "Oh, I gotta fix my trains. I haven't got my train card."
Okay, but that wasn't in Ticket to Ride. That was in Railways of the World that I'm trying to get my tickets and things. That's not Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride.
If you say so.
The thing with Ticket to Ride was everybody says Ticket to Ride is a um gateway game,
Mm-hmm.
but I for some reason never could wrap my head around
Oh my
how to
goodness.
play Ticket to Ride. And this is Railways of the World, but I could never wrap my head around how to play Ticket to Ride, even though people kept explaining it to me. And finally, um, I Heart Board Games, Jesse, gave me a free copy of Ticket to Ride Digital. And it finally clicked. I finally figured it out. It finally clicked. Even though I had bought it for my old tablet years ago, one Christmas for us to play, and we still didn't understand what we were doing. But I finally figured it out. So yeah, that one I understand. That's gonna be a Sunday game night family staple, Ticket to Ride. This mess, however,
I'm looking at this board right now and my eyes are glazing over. What is
this
this too much? What is going
mess
on?
right here. Okay. Basically, I'm the
Ooh,
tracks.
Ronald's got to go run a Spanish lesson. Bye, Ronald.
Bye. Bye. Have fun. Hasta luego.
Oh my goodness.
So basically, this basically I'm the purple tracks. I don't know if you can see the tracks that have purple trains on them. I know it's real small, but I'm the purple tracks, and I can only run my trains on the purple tracks. I can borrow other people's tracks a little bit, but is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better. I'm gonna keep muting a little bit because I we've got a repairman here and I'm trying to make sure the dogs don't bark.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know the repairman was still there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the the purple trains are mine. Okay. And I'm trying to like you see in Nashville, there's a purple block. So I have to
Mm-hmm.
send that purple block to another city that's purple. But
Okay.
there's no cities, and no purple cities within my tracks there.
Yeah.
Now, Knoxville over here it has that statue because it's empty. I could turn Knoxville or Chattanooga into a purple city, but I have to spend money. See where it says urbanized, that's $10,000 up at the top.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
do that. And then I'd have to spend $2,000 to run track from Nashville to Chattanooga. Okay. If you look over here where my name is, okay, that's 27,000 of debt that I'm in.
Sounds like you went to college.
That's 25,000 that I've earned so far. So I need to deliver, and I get 1,000 for each time they run on one of my tracks. So I need to try to deliver some more goods to get out of this debt before the end of the game.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a hot mess. I don't know how it actually ends. What I've heard is that once all of these little brown, cross on stand things are used up, then
Mm-hmm.
that's the end of the game. But we had used up a bunch of them and now it's back down to zero. So I don't understand. I don't understand where we are in this game. I don't understand where all I know is that I'm gonna lose because I'm in debt. You see everybody else has like 7,000 debt, 2,000, 6,000. I just was spending money left and right before I understood what the game was about.
Oh my goodness.
But
Insane.
that's me in train games. There's something about just like delivering the stuff that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Setting up my tracks and delivering the stuff. I That mechanic I enjoy. Um
Okay.
I just need to find a different train game perhaps that I understand a little bit better. Or at least play this one a second time. I can't get anybody else to play it with me because it's so long.
Yeah, that's like when we that one time that we
That's my
played
first time.
Parks.
That's my first time playing it, and I've been playing that game for weeks.
Oh my goodness! I thought this is like another time playing it.
No,
You have been talking about this for
no.
absolute weeks. Oh my goodness.
It says the progression is 100%, so we must be close to the end of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, but it's. I've been playing that game for weeks.
Yeah, that does not sound like a me game. Remember that one time that we tried to play Parks?
Yep,
That game went on for so long.
Parks is a fun game though.
It's a pretty game. It's a very pretty
It's a
like
pretty game.
zen game.
Yeah, it's pretty and zen, kind of like yeah, this game was started 36 days ago. We started it. It was created on December 21st. So
Oh my
yeah, it's been
goodness.
over a month.
Oh my goodness. Insane.
But yeah, Parks is a very pretty game.
Mm-hmm.
It's zen, a little bit like Tokaido.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Parks is definitely the kind of game that I would play like on the deck of the cruise or in one of the rooms on the cruise when like we don't have anything scheduled and we just need to kill some time.
mhm.
That's definitely when I would play one of those games, like when we were sitting in the library. Except that library was cold. We need to find somewhere else to go next time. That library was cold.
Yes, very cold. Very, very cold.
So cold.
Very cold. I was going to try to show you parks, or show the audience parks, but it doesn't seem to want to share.
Well, that means that we will just put a link to the game down below. We need to get affiliated with somebody so people can buy these games under our name.
Oh, please. Nobody's watching us. Who do you think is going to buy them?
Ronald was watching us. We'll find people.
Ronald has games. Ronald does.
Okay. I'm just saying that people do watch us. People be Ronald.
Yes, Ronald does watch us. This is Parks.
It's very pretty. It's I forgot how pretty it was. I said it was pretty, but I like had a vague image in my head. It is very pretty.
Yes, it is a very pretty game. It
It just took
and if you go on
too ding
YouTube,
dang long to play.
if you go on YouTube and watch a video of it,
Mm-hmm.
of somebody explaining the game, and you see what the real life components look like of the game with all the wooden pieces and
Wood
everything,
piece.
it is so nice. It is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so the other thing, I have been playing Pocket Card Jockey. Have you heard of Pocket
What
Card
is that?
Jockey? Pocket
I have
Card
not.
Jockey Pocket Card Jockey is actually an older game, but it just came out on it was just re-released excuse me. It was just re-released on Apple Arcade, which
Okay.
I've got Apple Arcade, which
Mm-hmm.
side note, one of my goals for one of my goals for
One of your goals for 2023.
thank you. That's yeah, that's that thing. 2023.
You cannot talk and click. It's not that does not
I
work for me.
can't. I can't. I can't. Clearly I can't.
Finish your
Because
thought and then I will ramble for you while you're clicking.
okay. And I made notes and everything, so I would stop doing this. And here I am doing it anyway because I'm trying to click and everything. But it's a Nintendo 3DS game that was released in 2013 and it's
Okay.
just come to Apple Arcade last week. And as I
Mm-hmm.
was saying, Apple Arcade I've been paying for it for a year at this point because I was playing Wildflowers last February and it's almost February again. So I've been paying for it at least a year. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't regret paying for it. It's $5 a month. I feel like I've got my money's worth during those first few months, but I have to admit the last few months I have sort of been slacking as far
Mm-hmm.
as not really trying any new games and stuff. And
Yeah.
there are so many different things that I want to try that and this does come under the heading of games because I will probably be trying to come every week with a new game to talk about, simply not that I'm a big game reviewer or anything, but I will be coming with a new game to talk about because my goal is to try a new game frequently so that I can get my money's worth out of um Apple Arcade with the goal of, like I did with Game Pass. I tried all the games I wanted to off of Game Pass and then I got rid of Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
I only paid for 1 month of Game Pass because that's how long it took to try the few cozy games they had on
That you
Game
wanted to play.
Pass
Yeah.
that I wanted to play. So that so I want to try to get back into the rhythm with Apple Arcade and do the same thing because I still have games on my list that I have not tried yet. I made a whole list before I started Apple Arcade, before I decided to buy it, and said, okay, there's enough games on this list that it's worth it to me to go
To spend
ahead and
$5.
$5 a month.
It's still $5.
Whatever, quit making fun of your mother. So I but I've kind of slacked off, so I need to get that list back out. And they have added a few games here and there, but I need to get that list back out and go ahead and try the main games that I wanted to try. I did try a lot of them, but I feel like there's still a few big ones that I did
Mm-hmm.
not try because I got once I got into Wildflowers, I kind of
Everything was thrown aside,
I kind of
discarded.
dug in, and then I didn't really feel, because I love Wildflowers, and I really didn't feel like any of the other games would stand up to it after that. But
Mm.
I've kind of gotten over that now, even though I'm doing a second run through. I've kind of gotten over that now and feel like I can go ahead and play other games, even though they won't stand up to Wildflowers. I feel like I can
I'm
play
just
other
gonna
games.
start coming with my own game reviews of some of my favorite games. Since you're gonna talk about Wildflowers every single week, I'm gonna bring you my game reviews of my favorite games that I think people should play. Games that I've already played that I
I
think
do
people
not
should play.
talk about Wildflowers every week. I just mentioned that I'm playing Wildflowers. That's all I said.
I am going to compile a clip. I'm
No,
gonna make a
we
compilation
have
clip.
not done, I have not done a full pure, this is Wildflowers, look at the trailer, all of that
But
kind of
you
stuff.
mention it every single week. We've done 10 weeks of this. I'm gonna make a clip compilation of every time it's been wildflowers, 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 wildflowers.
I'm not any worse than all these YouTubers who mention Stardew Valley like it is the pinnacle,
Bruh,
like it is the height of gaming.
I found somebody and I was so happy for their fresh take on it. They were like, I have been looking for cozy games, and every time I look for cozy games, people recommend Stardew Valley. And she's like, I have been playing cozy games for years. Do you
Oh yeah,
think
I think,
I
yeah,
haven't touched?
you sent me that TikTok. You
Yes.
sent me that TikTok.
Ooh,
So while she is muted, let me go ahead and play this trailer. I'm playing it without sound, but Pocket Card Jockey it's a weird, it's one of those combinations of um you play solitaire, but you also race your horse.
I
Okay.
miss the 3DS so
Now,
much.
the way it is being shown in this trailer, I thought I picked a different trailer, but this trailer is perfect because this is showing how it was on the 3DS. Okay, where you have like your race in the top, and then you're playing solitaire at the bottom. But the way it is on um,
Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade, they've totally redone the race graphics. So that they looks the horses, the art style is still the same, where the
Mm-hmm.
horses are all cutesy and everything. The art style is still the same, but
That's the remix.
they've put the art style is still the same, but they have put the stats on the screen, and you play the solitaire in between the races. So it's not like at the same time as the races. You kind of play it in between. So it is, I'm trying to see if I can find something that's showing you. But anyway, it's, I still don't know how I feel about it because it is, the solitaire part is fine. Solitaire is not true like Klondike solitaire. It is that solitaire that you, where you just have to get the card. It's basically either get the card that's before, like if you have a 5, you either need to get the 4 next or the 3 next. You're trying to clear all the cards off the screen. It's not like Klondike where you're trying to get from ace to king, with alternating suits and things like that. But so the solitaire, but the thing is that you're trying to do it quickly because as you play solitaire, it is um powering up your horse so that your horse will move faster. And there's not a lot of control over what your horse does other than, I think this video will show more of what is going on. I'll pull it up in just a minute. But okay. I've got this running in the background while I talk about it. Um, but the art style is cutesy, not quite anime, but it does have the exaggerated facial expressions, when you're excited about something and what have you. And basically it has a silly little plot that explains why you are playing solitaire. It's kind of like you've always wanted to be a jockey, and so you are you get this guy who's on the screen right now to give you a chance to ride a horse. And so Mr. Makawa gives you a chance to ride the horse, and you ride the horse and you fall off of the horse, bump your head, you go into this dream sequence, or maybe you're dead, who knows? You go into this dream sequence where you see an angel, and the angel says, "Well, I'll let you have your dream of making it to the Derby, but since you're not very good at riding horses, then you're going to have to play solitaire. And the better that you play solitaire, the better I'll make your horse run for you so that you can make it to the Derby." That's basically that's how they work in the card playing aspect of the game. And so there's all these other different mechanics that are difficult for somebody like me who likes a very simplistic on in or not simplistic. I just like the game to be really laid out simply, and there's graphics. I mean, here we go. There's there's I don't know how to explain it. There is right now, like what I have up on the screen now is very simple. It's just the solitaire. But pretty soon there's going to be like, well, you need to clear the screen quickly to get out of the gate quickly. And then you need to move your horse over here so that you can play a more difficult solitaire or an easier solitaire to get move your make your horse move faster. And there is energy stats, and then there's some sort of enthusiasm stats and all this other kind of stuff that supposedly helps you control your horse. And it's a little bit much. As you can see, my brain gets frazzled just trying to click on stuff and do this video at the same time. So when I am playing the game, I can do the solitaire part, but then I don't understand what all the other things are on the screen. And like a lot of Japanese, especially RPG type games, this has a simplified RPG kind of layout where there is all kinds of stuff on the screen that you're supposed to pay attention to, and I don't know what any of that stuff means. And I just want to play the solitaire and race the horse. That's all I did. So I played it for a day or two. I don't know that I would continue playing it. I had it on both my phone and my um iPad, and I ended up taking it off my iPad. I might leave it on my phone and try it again every once in a while, but I don't know that I care enough about it to play again. But I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I tried it. That's kind of a lot in the beginning with Apple Arcade. That's kind of how it was when I first got Apple Arcade. There were a lot of games that were like, "Ooh, this is a really big game." Like Wildflowers, even though my daughter doesn't want me to continually mention Wildflowers. But Wildflowers is like has a full story, it's fully voiced, it's got all of that. And or like Sneaky Sasquatch, or there are a few other games that are Cozy Grove. There are a few other games that are like fully fleshed out games, and then now that those games are kind of, it's like they front loaded with those games, and now when they add a new game to Apple Arcade, it's more often something like a solitaire, or a there was another one that they released about a month or two ago, called Stitch, that looked promising, because I tend to find those, um, cross stitch. It's almost like a coloring book, except it's cross stitch like, and I tend to find those, um, relaxing at first, but in the end, when I actually played it, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was more, um, is more like just a puzzle of, do this one first and then do this one next. Fill in this section first and then fill in this section next. It wasn't as fun. This is what I've got up on the screen now is Stitch. It wasn't as fun as I expected it to be. It was very simplistic. It wasn't as fun as I expected it to be. It wasn't as soothing either as what have had with other cross stitch games. So there's a lot of games like that have come to Apple Arcade in recent months where I end up just playing. See, like up on the screen, there's a 6 and a 3. So you're supposed to fill in the 3 blocks first and then the 6 blocks next. It's very simple. It's very simple. And so it's not what I wanted. But that's what a lot of the games that are coming to Apple Arcade seem to be like right now. So I have rambled and rambled and rambled. Did you get your
Thank you for
situations?
holding down the fort.
Did you get your
I've been listening.
situations?
I've been listening on and off to you talking, but he was explaining because this is gonna be my own separate rambling section. So he replaced. We didn't have any heat, and because we didn't have any heat, we were using space heaters, and the space heaters tripped the power in our house the other day. So we had to call the electrician, and the electrician came in and was able to flip the breaker. It turns out it was just a breaker, and you had to manhandle the breaker to kind of turn it back on. But we didn't want to break anything or make it worse, so we called the landlady. She was upset. She's like, $150 for a trip breaker, and I was like, okay, that's what you have to be prepared to deal with whenever you own a house and are renting to people. So they came and fixed that, and I was like, also our heat doesn't work, and so she was like, the heat guy can't come until Friday. And I was like, sure. So the heat guy came, and I told her this off camera. I'm gonna tell you guys, TLDR, my landlady is a ridiculous person, and nobody wants to work with her. And because of people like her, this heat man is going to stop working on rentals. He's like, it's not the renters, it is the landlords. And so he's going to stop working on rentals. He has been working on this rental for years, since the previous owner held it, and he does not want to work on it anymore. But he needed to, so he replaced our thermostat. So we have a new thermostat in the house, like brand new box and everything. The thermostat was originally set up completely incorrectly. So we had to tape the thermostat down so it would stay in place, because the wires are normally, the thermostat wires are inside of the wall. So your thermostat is just a box kind of floating on the wall. Our thermostat is a box with a tail that is just, so we had to tape that down, and he's like, yeah, this is just because the wires are there. They're not supposed to be. And I was like, okay. So he showed me how to work the new thermostat, a lot easier than the old one, a lot less buttons. It's very much just like air, off, heat.
Mhm.
And then we had to go downstairs. He showed me where all of the like all the vents that blow air out and all the vents that suck air in, and so we have to make sure we keep them clear to save on
Mhm.
power. He was very nice. I am always worried because we live in kind of a not a backwards area, but kind of like we live in the mountains, and so I'm always worried that people are, because I am both black and a woman, people are going to treat me like just like I'm ridiculous and not really try to help me. He very thoroughly explained everything to me and said, if you do this, you're gonna waste power. If you do this, you're gonna waste power. You need to do it this way so you can save power. And I was like, thank you so much. And then he took me downstairs to show me where the air filters are, to show me how to replace the air filters in our thing
Mhm.
downstairs. And he's like, if you leave the air
Mhm.
filter too long, that's gonna cost you power too. He showed me
Mhm.
where the breakers are for downstairs, because we pay the power for upstairs and downstairs, but they are on different like units. So when I say the power was tripped a few days earlier, it was
Mhm.
only the upstairs power that was stripped, so we could charge our phones downstairs, but like
Mhm.
that doesn't. We can't turn our space heaters on, and so the whole
Yeah.
house is freezing for like an
Uh-huh.
entire day.
Uh-huh.
Um, but he showed me how to flip the breakers for downstairs, and he showed me how to replace the filters so
Mhm.
that we could change those and save power. And he showed me we have a whole box of filters down there, so if we need to replace them, we don't have to buy any. They're all down there
Mhm.
already. And he like walked me through, like, if you have it on, it's set to like turn on within half a degree of the temperature to like maintain the temperature, so that's what
Uh-huh.
it's doing there. And like,
Uh-huh.
don't turn on the emergency heating, because it'll heat up really fast, but it'll use your power up really really bad, so you don't want to do
Mhm.
that unless it's like a serious emergency or something. And I was like, thank you so much. And he's
Mhm.
like, you're good. Everything is all good as long as she gets my check in the mail. And I was like, I really hope she does. I'm so sorry that she's done you so dirty. And he's like, I mean, it's not you. And I got his card, and I was like, thank you so much, because I want to call you whenever we move. I want to be able to call you if we have any issues. He was so good.
Good, 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 good.
Yes. And we have
Good.
heat going.
I am glad that you have heat.
Yes.
And I rambled enough about Pocket Card Jockey translation. I may play it randomly, but I took it off my iPad.
Mm.
So, any games you want to talk about?
Um, I mean, the only games that I've been playing, Arialdis and I are still playing Stardew Valley. I talked about that last week, where
Mhm.
we're playing the 2-player Stardew Valley, and I'm really enjoying that. I went back and started another level of unpacking, because I was like, I need to finish unpacking before they take it off Game Pass, because apparently Game Pass is being ruthless and just taking my
Uh-huh.
games from me. And so I was like, I need to
Uh-huh.
finish this game. I started it playing it on TikTok Live, but I'm like, TikTok Live, I only had like 7 people watching me at that point anyway. And so if they really want to, they can go find somebody, some streamer, to finish playing this game. I want to finish
Uh-huh.
playing this game, and I don't have the energy
Uh-huh.
to stream it right now. So I
Mhm.
started playing one, but I was playing in a time where I was the only person in the house. And so when I do that, like right now, I'm in the bedroom, because both dogs can be in the bedroom without causing a bunch of ruckus. If I were to bring both dogs into the office, because they're not in there very often, because they're not supposed to be in there very often, then they will like run around sniffing everything and dig their noses into a bunch of stuff and like cause issues. And so I will be like up and down all over the place. And so I was in the bedroom, and to play games on the bedroom, I have the laptop, and I've got the Xbox Gaming Companion on the laptop. And so with the
Uh-huh.
Xbox Gaming Companion, you can stream your games from your laptop, from your Xbox, even though my Xbox is just in the other room. But you can stream your games from your Xbox to your laptop to
Mhm.
play them. And so that's what I was doing. But then my laptop was like, oh, you thought you were playing Xbox Gaming Companion. Silly girl. No, we don't do that. And it crashed. So I got maybe the living room unpacked, and then it crashed. And so I'm gonna try to play again later. But that's what I've been doing.
That's what you've been doing. Speaking of
Yes.
crashing, my wildflowers keeps crashing on my iPad. I don't know if it's something to do with because I started back playing it after they added the update with the endless
Mm-hmm.
seasons. And I don't know if that has something to do with it, but it keeps crashing and it's rather annoying. And I see, because in my brain I thought, oh, well, something's crashing because I have too much stuff on my iPad, because that's what happened with my previous iPad and my previous iPhone. Was once you know the hard drive got too much stuff, I needed to kind of delete a few things so that the bigger games would be happy. But
Mm-hmm.
this is the only game that's doing it. None of my other games. The only game that I have that's close to the size of Wildflowers is probably Cozy Grove, and Cozy Grove never crashes. So, and even having them both on my iPad at the same time. I mean, I haven't played Cozy Grove in a minute, but Cozy Grove had never crashes. So I don't
No, but I remember
understand.
you having issues with Cozy Grove. Like you couldn't play Cozy Grove in the evening because it wouldn't run.
Yeah, when I played Cozy Grove in the evening, it would be kind of glitchy. Only at night. I do not understand. Only at night would it be glitchy. I do not understand.
The stars have not aligned correctly.
Almost as if it knew it was nighttime. But other than that, I don't have as much problem. It didn't outright crash the way this
Hmm.
game is doing. So this makes me sad.
Yeah,
And I thought
I'm
about trying
sure.
to see if I could play my shut up. See if I could play my second run through on my phone, but the
You don't play
size,
stuff on your phone.
the size of my phone.
You
I
need to
don't
get a
want
new
I don't
phone.
want to play something on I don't need a new phone, but I just don't want to play an expansive game like Wildflowers on a screen on a 4-inch screen here or a 5-inch screen. But but that's so much for games. What have we been reading, watching, listening to wrap up our last few minutes?
So we did listen to something, so I'm gonna leave that to you to bring up, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I have been watching. So Isaac and Chloe and I, my siblings, we finally finished watching Wednesday.
Mhm.
I know you haven't watched it, so I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but I
Mhm.
finally saw the snood that everyone has been crocheting, and it is cute,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of want to make one. If for no reason other than people will watch because
Okay.
they watch Wednesday.
Okay. This I haven't seen the snood that everybody's been crocheting. I I so I don't know. So you have to fill me in. When you say snood, are
Yeah,
they
it's
talking
not what
about
I think of
are
when
they
it's
talking about a proper 1940s snood where it's the net that goes over the back
no,
of your
no, they are
hair?
not.
That
No, they're
annoys
not.
me.
Which is
They're
why
talking
I've been
about one of
so
those
confused.
crazy hoods
They're
that
yes,
goes
they're
over your
talking about
head.
what people in the crochet world have been calling for years a scuddy, a scarf hoodie. They're
Uh-huh.
talking about a scuddy, but they are calling it a snood for some reason. It feels like someone who doesn't crochet knows someone who crochets, and their friend who crochets is like, "Hey, can you throw some crochet stuff in the show that you're working on?" And they're like, "Sure, I'll do this for my friend, and she'll love it whenever we put it in." And so they have the main character's friend. She's like, she crochets, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's cute." And then she crochets her a birthday gift, and she's like, it's a snood, but did like little to no research. And her friend is probably like beating her behind closed doors. It is not a snood. It is not.
Well, to be fair, I have heard other people in the crochet world refer to this as a snood, but it's not what I think of as a snood. A snood is the
The
1940s
knit, yes, I've made myself a
knit.
snood before.
I've
Yes.
made myself a snood before as well. And
Yeah, which is why both of us are looking wide eyed at the camera like this right
I
now.
wore a snood at when I was bridesmaid in your Aunt Terry's wedding. So I know what a snood looks like. But
Yeah.
why they would call that a snood is beyond me.
It
But
feels like
when you
someone gave somebody a vague definition of what a snood is. And then someone was like, oh, well, they must mean this thing.
but
Like
like
when people,
I just did a search for snood and these are the images they're bringing up to me.
those are cowls.
Exactly.
What is going on? Are we are we in the wrong reality? Is this the Mandela effect?
We are clearly in an incorrect reality.
What is going on?
Clearly.
None of those are
Clearly.
snoods. But they're not even the like fake snood that the other people are talking about. Those are cowls.
Exactly.
I'm so confused. Anyway, so we finished watching Wednesday. It's a hoot. Go watch it. They've been confirmed for a season 2, which I'm super excited to go see. There's a big twist at the end, which you probably could have guessed after watching episode 1. I mean, you wouldn't have been able to guess what the twist was, but you can guess that there's a twist. Yes, a snood is more like a
Yes,
hairnet, but make it chic.
if you go to Wiktionary, then you can find a picture or Wikipedia, then you can find a proper snood. everybody else on the internet has ignored Wikipedia and is calling everything else a snood.
It's
But
like
that
what?
is what I think of as a snood.
I'm just gonna start calling random things snoods just everything. I'm gonna call everything a snood, and that's gonna be our bit. And anybody who has seen this one live stream will understand. We're never gonna explain it again, but anybody who has seen this one live stream will understand.
You are so goofy. You are so goofy.
But so we finished watching Wednesday. It's a hoot. Watch it. Oh, I was gonna say something and then I lost it. Oh, I am currently watching a playthrough of a game. I'm watching some Let's Players play a game. It's called Inscription. And it's a game that's like a card game, but then like partway through the game there's a twist and it gets all meta and crazy or whatever. But the base of the game is that you're playing a card game. But I found myself getting very frustrated because it's a husband and wife, and this playthrough is from like over a year ago. So, and they're still making videos. They're still like happy and fine. So clearly they're over it. They weren't getting as stressed as I am getting over this. But the husband has control of the mouse. Depending on the game, then yes, this is Inscription. So depending on the game, sometimes the wife will be in control. Sometimes the husband will be in control. Sometimes they will go back and forth, and like you play one round, I'll play another. But on this game, the husband is in control of the mouse. And the thing that I'm getting frustrated with is that she once or twice said, "Hey, can you slow down and explain what you're doing before you do it so that we can like play together?" Because that's how they do play together, is they like talk through the things before they do it. And they do well on other games, but the husband, and I don't think he's doing this maliciously. I almost know that he is not doing this maliciously, but he gets so excited about playing the game and he's so focused on solving the puzzle of how to beat this enemy in this card game that he will just click, 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 click. And then she's had to, I am on episode like 4 or 5 of them playing this game now. And she, every single episode, has to tell him multiple times, "Hey, before you play the card, can you please explain to me what you're doing? Can you please explain where you're going?" Because when he does slow down and explain, she does have good input of, "Hey, why are you putting this here instead of putting it here? Because then we can save points or whatever, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right." But he still like is so like in I am playing this game mode, and it's so frustrating to me. I love both of these YouTubers, and it's no hate towards either of them, but because it's very clearly that he is just very much enjoying the game and keeps forgetting that he is supposed to be playing the game with someone. But every time it happens, I'm like, please stop and talk it through. Not even just for her, but people in their chat are also like, I don't understand what's going on because he's not explaining anything. He's just clicking cards and he's just like going through click, 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 click. And I'm like, oh. And so I want to finish because I want to see the rest of this game, but it is like driving me crazy.
And I guess you're not going to name this YouTuber.
I mean, I can.
Is this somebody I've seen before?
You may have. They usually do craft YouTubes. They usually do like DIY stuff, but their main YouTube channel is called Evan and Caitlin because their names are Evan and Caitlin. Okay. But this is on their Evan and Caitlin Gaming Uncut channel because they stream on Twitch as well.
Did they play Unpacking?
I think they did play Unpacking.
I think I watched them play Unpacking. I think that's the only time I've watched them. I think I watched them play Unpacking.
I think they did play Unpacking. I haven't watched anybody play Unpacking because I don't want to spoil it for myself because I want to finish the game. But I think they did play Unpacking. But
well, I kind of had them in the background while I was playing, and when they got to if it's the same YouTuber, but if they got too far ahead of me,
you'd pause.
Then I'd pause. You know, I'd stop the video, and then when I got a certain amount ahead, then I would, you know, pick up. So, but I think that's who I was watching.
Yeah, I love them, and that's why I was so surprised when I was watching this because usually they work together very well when playing these games. But he like I said, I think he was just so excited to play the game because the game also has a bunch of like secrets and reveals and all kinds of like a lot of meta stuff and all kinds of things. And so I think he was so engrossed in the game that he keeps forgetting that he is supposed to be, he's not just playing this game. He is playing this game with his wife on a live stream. And
Mm.
so I'm like, slow down.
Yeah,
Because like
I just looked them up. That's who I watched playing
mhm.
Unpacking.
Yeah, you should watch some of their other games too. They play a lot of good games, and like I said, they usually work really well together. They're interesting. They're very interesting to watch. They have good like on camera chemistry and stuff. But I've been watching it, and I'm debating right now if I want to finish watching their playthrough or if I want to switch and watch a different YouTuber's playthrough of the game and just like cut to where I am in the game.
A lot of people talk about Inscription, and I haven't decided whether I want to try it or not. I don't know if it would be my type of game or not because
It can,
it looks kind of like in the realm of there's some other card based game that was really popular on mobile about 3 or 4 years ago, and I cannot remember the name of it. But I was like, this feels almost like Magic the Gathering. I don't think this is going to be my type of game.
yeah, that's what I think. I think early game you wouldn't really have any issues, but there's a point in the game. I'm guessing about halfway through. I don't know because I haven't seen the end of it, but I'm guessing about halfway through where there's kind of a switch where the game
Mhm,
mechanics are a little bit different. They're mostly the same, but like a little bit different. There are different kinds of cards
mhm.
added, and I think the issue that you would probably have with that is remembering what each card can do and
Uh-huh.
remembering what because like it's on the card what the cards can do, but you have to kind of memorize these symbols
Yeah.
and what they can do, and then like plan what cards you need in your deck to beat the cards that are coming up.
Yeah, I am not a strategy gal. I'm not a
Me
strategy
either.
gal. And because I tried playing Marvel Snap when it
You try
came
playing
out.
Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I played Marvel Snap when it came out. Why are you looking at me like that?
That did not seem like it would be your cup of tea.
I have nothing against superheroes.
No, but
And
it's not. I don't know. You
and
just don't strike me as a superhero girly, and also not a. I don't know.
the art looked pretty. And so I was like, okay.
I haven't even
But
played Marvel Snap.
I realized right away, even though it's I could tell that it is simpler than something like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon cards or any of those other games. I could tell just having this game where there's all these different things on the cards. This card does this if you play it at the same time as this card and stuff like that is which is crazy if you think about it, that I would have trouble with these games because the majority of the games that we play are card-based games.
Yeah,
Like when we play get together for our board game nights, whether in person or on BGA, we gravitate toward the card-based games.
yeah. It's like a Go Nuts
You
for
know, like
Donuts or a Sushi
or
Go.
or Sushi Go or Flux or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I don't know. For some reason, some of these ones that are more like battle games,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't jive with them.
Yeah, because
I
there's
think the difference because something like Sushi Go is more of like a collecting game.
yes.
You know, if you collect this or like Go Nuts for Donuts, if you collect this many, then you get this many points. You know, and the more of these you collect, the more points you get or what have you.
Yeah, so
You
you're
know.
just keeping track of your own thing as opposed to trying to keep track of somebody else's thing
Mhm.
and then going against it. Yeah, I no, I
Exactly.
understand.
Exactly. So it's not, those battle games are not necessarily for me.
Hmm.
Okay, so I asked my daughter to listen to an old time radio show called Dr. Christian.
Yes,
Did you listen, my dear?
I did, and I have a few things to say.
Okay,
First,
do it.
you give a general synopsis of what this is so that I can have some of my things to say.
Okay, I'm trying to bring up the Wikipedia so I can. Okay, so Dr. Christian was a radio drama from on CBS radio from 1937 to 1954. Okay. And it was briefly also a TV show from 19 up until 1957. So it's the main character, Dr. Christian, is played by an actor, Gene Hersholt. I think he's Danish or was Danish, I think maybe.
Thank you. That answers one of my questions.
Um, let's see, don't get me to lying. Yes, he's Danish. He was Danish. He was Danish. Um, and I think he played the grandfather in the old Heidi movie from the 1930s.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness. I love those movies.
he basically plays a character where he is a country doctor in a Midwest town called Rivers End, and he has a nurse called named Judy. Although she seems to be more of a receptionist because I never see her, never
Yeah,
hear
I don't
her
think she.
going to.
Yeah,
They have she's supposed to be a nurse, but I don't. It does. She doesn't seem to be helping with anything.
at least in the I listened to the one episode that you sent me first and started listening to the other like two-parter episode, but didn't finish that. So I'm just going to talk about the one. But in that one episode, she did not do any nursing.
So which episode did I refresh my memory? Which episode did I
It was the one with the old lady, the mother,
the new
and
stove? The new stove.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. If you go for anybody who's interested, if you go on Spotify, there's because I think these things are in like public domain or something because I listened to Dr. Christian on another website a while back, and then I happened to run across episodes, and there's like two different people who have episodes up there, and there may be more. But the people that the one that I listened to linked you to was called GSMC Classics, and they I think whoever you get to get your episodes from, some people seem to clean up the audio a little bit better because this is again from like the 1930s 1940s, and so the audio sometimes I've listened to this on from other people, and the audio was very difficult to hear, but this particular organization that I sent you the link to, they seem
Mm-hmm.
to have cleared up the audio enough. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but they've cleared up the
Yes.
audio enough that
Okay,
you
that
can
answered
pretty
another
much
one of my questions.
understand which was what was that question.
Oh no, continue. I will address all concerns after you've
But
described.
But yeah, so basically it's a small Midwest town, and it's more there is some doctor stuff, but it's not as much doctor stuff as if you listen to Dr. Kildare, which is another radio program that I listen to off and on. Dr. Kildare is set in a hospital and is definitely um they're talking
Who is
specifically.
going to someone called Dr. Kill Dare?
Dr. Kildare was very popular. Maybe we can talk about Dr. Kildare next week, but right now, all I'm saying is I'm just comparing,
Mm-hmm.
for people who may be familiar with Dr. Kildare, because I think Dr. Kildare was a little bit more popular than Dr. Christian, because there
Mm-hmm.
was several Dr. Kildare movies and a TV show and all that kind of stuff. So Dr. Dr. Kildare, they do focus more on the medical issue, whereas Dr. Christian, sometimes there's medical issues like, a car got run off the road or something like that. But also there's a lot of just like small town gossip
Yeah, it
in
makes me
Dr.
think of
Kildare.
did you ever watch Father Brown when it was on Netflix?
You mean Father Brown Mysteries?
I guess it was called Father Brown Mysteries
Was it
somewhere
like,
else. It was with the BBC, and then the BBC took it back,
but isn't
and it
there like
was
murder mysteries?
yeah, he was. They're not always murder. It's just like true crime stuff. But like some true crime thing will happen, and Father Brown is like the priest of this tiny little town in the UK
I think I've
somewhere.
watched one episode.
Okay, yeah, it's got a similar vibe of he is the priest or whatever in the town, but he doesn't do much
The
priesting. He
vicar.
does more. Yeah,
He's the
he's the
vicar.
vicar, in town, but he doesn't do much dickering. He also like goes around talking to people, finding out information about stuff, and just like solving these crimes, like, or helping the police, even though they don't really want his help solving these crimes.
So I gave my description. What were your thoughts on this show?
Okay, so the episode that we listened to, which I think you said is called The New Stove.
The New Stove.
The plot of this episode, I don't think this can be spoilers since you said it came out in the 30s. The plot of this episode...
We're not spoiling anything. Go ahead.
The plot of this episode is there's a family, they're like 3 older like children, and then their mother. So their father passes away, and they're like, oh, we need to do something with the mother. And so full disclosure, for the first like maybe 5 minutes of the show, I was having so much trouble like tuning my brain into listening through all of the static. And so my first question was going to be, are there clearer recordings of this? You said this is the clearest recording, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, this is as clear as it's gonna get, baby.
We're good. It just takes me a while to tune through the static and to tune into those like transatlantic accents or whatever, to tune in and be able to like focus and like, okay, I'm in this mindset that I understand what they're saying right now. And so
yeah, because I'm gonna send you, if you enjoyed this, I'm gonna send you some more radio shows so we can talk about them over the next couple of weeks. But like Dr. Kildare, the recordings of that one are more clear than this. Okay. And the Damon Runyon ones, I can't wait for you to listen to those.
Okay. Because it was not super bad. The worst time that I had was when I was listening in my car, because I was listening to one while I was driving to go pick up
the quality varies. Some of them are really clear, and some of them are like very low, and you have to turn it all the way up.
Yes. And I feel like the one that I was listening to, it was very, very fuzzy at the beginning and then got clearer part of the way through, which I think is part of the issue of I was trying to listen, and then it cleared up, and I was like, oh, now I understand what's going on. But the plot of this episode is 3 older children, their father dies, and so the mother is living in the house that they lived in alone, and they're like, we can't leave you here, Mom. And so they're like, you're going to go and move in with, I don't remember her name, so I'm going to call her Julie. You're going to go and move in with Julie.
It was Ella.
You're going to go and move in with Ella. Ella's got the most up-to-date house and everything. And Mom is like, I don't want to go. And they're like, nonsense. You can't stay here by yourself. And you're eating all this bad food, and your health is on the decline, and blah, blah, blah. And you've been saying that you want to stay.
And this is the wrong side of town.
This is the wrong side of town, yes.
Never mind that they all grew up there.
Yes, and this is the wrong side of town. And you've been saying that you want this new stove. Ella's got nice new stoves and stuff, so you can just go move in with Ella. And so so she moves in, and this whole time I'm thinking, because she is vehemently protesting, saying, I don't want to move. This is the house that I grew up in. This is where all my comfort is. This is where all my stuff is.
This is where all you children grew up.
This is where all you grew up. If I have any trouble, I've got a phone. All I really want is a new stove, so it's easier for me to cook stuff. And she is like vehemently protesting, but they're like, no, Mom, it's okay. You need to move into this house. You need to move into this house. And I'm like,
you're saying it like, no, Mom, it's okay. You need to move. No, they were saying it like, we know better than you. Hush.
Yes.
You're moving.
Exactly. Like, how she is your mother. Why would you know more than her? She's been living here 4 years and she's older than you. Why would you know more than her? They're like, no, you need to move. You have until such and such basically she has 24 hours to pack up the few things that she wants to take into her daughter's guest room. And she's going to go stay in the guest room. And I'm like, why don't y'all let this lady stay in her house? Why don't y'all let this lady stay in her house? And so she moves into the house, and Dr. Christian like comes over, and it's like, it might be for the best, because like things will be easier for you over there. You should probably go and like try it out or whatever. And so she goes over there, and Dr. Christian comes and visits her, and he's like, how are you doing? And she's like, I'm okay. And he's like, how are you doing?
It's like weeks later he goes to visit her. It's
yes, weeks later.
The next day. This story takes place over a few months. The passage of time goes. So it's not like just the next day. But go ahead.
So she goes, and no, you're good. Fill me in on some stuff, because like I said, I was having some trouble hearing some of the little details through all that crackling. But so he goes weeks later, and he's like, how are you doing? She's like, oh, things are all right. And he's like, how are you doing? And she's like, they won't let me cook anything. which is the whole reason that she wanted to sew. She was listening to a radio show, and her daughter wanted her to listen to some program or whatever, but she was tuning into the
Some
recipe
some
show.
some lecture to improve her mind.
Yes, and she was listening, but she's like, "Oh, I thought you were my daughter. I thought I was about to get in trouble." She was listening to the recipe channel, learning some recipes, and she's like, "Not like I can cook anything anyway. They bring me my food in here, and then I sit in this room all day and sit over here." And he's like, "Don't you have a rocking chair?" She's like, "No," and nothing in this house squeaks, and nothing smells right, and nothing feels right, and this new bed doesn't have any of the grooves that I'm used to, so I can't sleep, and I'm not getting any sleep or anything. And he's like, "Oh, well, why don't you start going for a walk every day? It'll probably make you feel better." And so she starts going for walks every day. And then he comes back to he comes to check on her. This is like weeks later again, comes to check on her, but he finds her in her old house. She's been coming to her old house in her old house with the lights off in the cold because she just wants to be back at her house. I'm like, if y'all don't let this lady move back into her house, she's going to die. Y'all let this lady move back in her house. Y'all clearly, you tried. She does not want to be here. She's not like. What is the
I knew you would feel this episode, but go ahead.
Yes, I was like, what is the point of her living with all of these niceties or whatever if she's miserable? Like, why you're trying to prolong her life or whatever? Prolonging her life doesn't mean anything if she doesn't want to be there. Like, well, she doesn't want to be there. And so she catches cold and it's like real bad because she's also old. And so the doctor is like, we need to get her. They get her to the hospital and then they fix her up or whatever. And to be so up.
You are breaking up.
Ooh, am I back now? It looks like it's better.
You're back. You're
Am I
back.
Okay.
You're back.
So finally, once she's like better in the hospital or whatever, and Dr. Christian comes in and is like, go ahead and get your things. And she's like, what? And he's like, you're moving back into your house. And then all the kids are like, what? Moving back to their house? And he's like, she does not want to be here. And I'm like, finally, vindication for this old lady. Let her live in her house. Her house that her husband built or whatever, and it's got all the marks from the kids like sleeping in their bed whenever they were little and whatever. Why'd y'all move this lady out in the first place? I was just furious this whole episode. I was like, why'd y'all move this lady out of this house?
So these episodes are about 20, 30 minutes long. Although it's not the story part itself, there's about 20 minutes of story, I would say. Because how did you like the advertisements?
Do they ever get sponsored by anything other than Vaseline? No. I was listening to this while I was in the grocery store. I went to the grocery store to get dog food and almost picked up a container of Vaseline myself. They were talking about Vaseline so much. They were like, Vaseline.
I've got that Vaseline hair tonic in my Amazon shopping cart.
Bro, they're like, Vaseline, put it on your hair, put it on your cut, put it on your chicken, put it on your baby, put it on your dog. Like Vaseline for everything. It is the cure-all.
There was so many varieties of Vaseline. There was regular Vaseline. There was Vaseline hair tonic. There's Vaseline carbonated ice. When you have a cold, rub that on your chest. And
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If you get a cut or a burn, put the Vaseline on there.
Just right on there. It'll solve. You'll heal up like Wolverine.
If your skin is dry, use that Vaseline.
Ridiculous. That's worse than my advertisements for the Lipton tea. It's refreshing.
But that's how old radio shows were, to be honest. The radio show was the way the radio show got on the air, my understanding, is that a particular company would sponsor the radio show. So it was like brought to you. If you listen to the opening is slightly different on different episodes, but usually at the beginning they will say brought to you by the Cheeseboro Company, which is the company that owns Vaseline. And so the Cheeseboro Company has paid for that airtime. So all the commercials are going to be from them. It's not going to be different commercials like you have today on TV shows.
Well,
It's
I
like,
figured it was something like that. I just didn't know if at any point maybe they get bought out by somebody else. Does anybody other than Vaseline buy this
no,
show?
it's Vaseline. All the episodes I've listened to is Vaseline.
All Vaseline all day.
It's Vaseline. But it's very I just thought it would be fun for you to check it out and see what you thought of it. I have been very into the melodramatic, you know, and I understand in the year of our Lord 2023 that it can be a minefield going back and listening to some of these old time radio shows,
Oh, yeah.
especially if there's some, a black maid or a Chinese housekeeper or something like that. So I try to avoid those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just plain old Midwest garden variety white people.
Mm-hmm.
So usually you don't run into any of that kind of stuff and you can listen to it and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
So so I find them fun.
Yeah. It
I
was
find
good. I
them
was just
fun
angry on the behalf of that lady. I was like, why did you move her?
because
You on what
yeah,
authority?
yeah. Dr. Christian is more there for like just folksy wisdom. There's
Mm-hmm.
not a whole lot of
Doctrine.
medical. There's not a whole lot of doctrine. It's he's more of a doctor of the heart or something because most
Doctor of the soul.
if you listen to more of these episodes, you'll find that, oh well, you listen to part of the milk racket. What'd you think of
I
that?
I listened to the very beginning of the first episode.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah, so I heard where the two guys were arguing about what they were going to do about spilling the milk. And then they spilled the milk. And then we find out that the guy doesn't make it. And then Dr. Christian hears that the guy is on trial, but he has a really good lawyer. But he's talking to the guy's mother, and she's like, "Well, he got this really good job, but he all of a sudden started feeling like acting like he didn't really want it, but it pays so well, and he seems like he's hiding something, but he can't hide anything from the lawyers. But what if he does? What would he have to hide, Doctor Christian?
Yeah, that's a three-part episode. You gotta finish
Three
listening to
part? I
that.
thought it was two.
No, it's three.
Okay, well, I will listen to that and report back
It's
next week.
it's three. But it's again in that three-part episode, there is, I think, in the middle of maybe the second episode, there might be a little bit of doctrine. Everything else, Dr.
Actual
Christian,
doctrine.
actual doctrine.
Oh my goodness.
Everything else, Dr. Christian is doing. But it's like Dr. Christian says, well, he might not make it. Let me go in there and check on him. And then that's as much doctrine as you get. If you
The
listen to
doctrine
Doc,
happens behind doors.
yeah, I think I might have to send you some episodes of Dr. Kildare because they try to throw around some actual
Medical
medical
terminology.
terms. Now, not that they're accurate, but they throw some stuff around.
Like we just needed to inspect the femur in his skull.
But they throw some stuff around.
Mm,
But yeah, I enjoy the old time radio, especially with the commercials thrown in, where they
mm,
tell you how well this stuff is going to fix you up,
yeah.
how well Vaseline's going to fix you up.
It made me think of two things. The commercials made me think of the commercials that were on WandaVision. Do you remember that?
Uh
How they
huh.
made the like fake commercials for WandaVision? Those are
Uh
really good.
huh.
And then the show in general kind of made me think of back when I was little and you gave me or like showed me the website to listen to Green Acres, which was fun. Um
I figured you would like this because you used to listen to Blackjack
Yeah,
Justice.
that's the other thing that I was about to say. Used to, I'm still listening. So what happened with Blackjack Justice? They had all of those seasons. I want to say they had 8 or 12 seasons. And
Hmm.
then the guy that voices Jack got another job somewhere else. So he's not with the company anymore. He's not with Dakota Rain Theater anymore. And
Hmm.
so the author, uh, Jonathan Taylor, I want to say something Taylor. The author is now, instead of putting out these full length episodes with all the different voice actors and stuff, he is
Mm-hmm.
putting out case files, like case books or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be 2-part episodes. And so it's the author doing the voice of Jack. The author originally did the voice of in the series, in the seasons. The author originally did the voices of Lieutenant oh, what was his name? He was the police lieutenant. I can't remember, but he was very like angry. I want to say Irish man. But he did his voice, and so now he is doing the voice of Jack. And like it's coming. There are 2 episodes. One of the episodes will be from Jack's perspective, and so he will voice all of the characters in the episode. And then the second half of the story, the second episode, will be from the voice of Trixie. And so she, because they still have her voice actress, and so she will voice all of the characters. So it's basically he is narrating the first half and reading, essentially reading and narrating the first half, and she will narrate the second half. And so they're still putting out stories. It's just a lot slower and not like fully voice acted. But I love Blackjack Justice. Like love it.
I did not realize that you were still listening to Blackjack Justice.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to finish these. So they have the Red Panda book coming out right now. So I'm listening on Spotify because they have them all on Spotify. But they're putting out the episodes for the Red Panda book right now, and so they're not putting out any episodes until they finish the Red Panda book, which is what they did for the Blackjack Justice book. And so I listened to all the seasons. I've listened to all the seasons multiple times, and then I listened to the whole book twice because the book tells how Jack and Trixie met. So I listened to the whole book. Oh, was I right? Is it 12 seasons? Oh, I was right. 12 seasons. But the book is how Jack and Trixie met, and then that's I think that book is either the last thing that the original voice actor for Jack did, or they like that was the start of them not having him as a voice actor. And then since then they've been doing the case files, but they're not going to do any more case files until they finish putting out the Red Panda book. I like Red Panda Adventures too, but it's a bit more like campy and like and dramatic. And some of the episodes I like, and some of them are like, I don't know, just not quite my taste. And so I might go back and re-listen to them. But I prefer Blackjack Justice, the noir.
See anybody who happens to be watching, this is what happens in our household. I run across something, I introduce it to my children, I stop paying any attention to it, and they continue on. This is what happens.
Does this happen with any of your children other than me?
No, it happens because I introduced all of you to anime, and all of you are still into anime, and I have no interest in anime. So I mean, it happens with all of you. I find something, I direct it to the person who I think might be interested in it, and then I keep moving.
Meanwhile, here I am years later,
still listening to Blackjack Justice.
Yes. But I went to look up, speaking of things that we listened to years later, I went to look up Gadgets the other day. By the other day, I mean like a few months ago, and cannot find it. It's gone completely.
Yeah, because
it's gone.
That company's gone.
Yes, but they still have the episodes because CNET is still a thing. They still have the episodes up for a while in like an archive or something. It's all gone. It's like gone.
Yep. Gone.
I was upset.
Gone. But Molly Wood does a podcast with his first name's Tom. Can't think of his name right now, but it's called It's a Thing. You should check it out. It is fun. It's a Thing is a podcast where basically they're talking about trends. So it's like, is this, I've seen this, is this a new thing? Is this a trendy thing? That's why they call it It's a Thing. Is this, is this a thing? And they'll talk about, I see a lot of people wearing Uggs again. Are Uggs back? I see a lot of people wearing scrunchies again. Are scrunchies back? That kind of thing. That kind of thing. You should check it out. They've been doing it. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. They've been doing it for like 8 or 9 years. They took a long break in between. It's like they started 9 years ago, and then they did it for like a year or so, and then they took a long break in between, and then they started back again like 5 years ago, maybe. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
remember.
Is it on Spotify?
Oh yeah, it's on Spotify.
I'm gonna go add it right now as we're
Yeah,
speaking so I
it
don't forget.
is definitely on Spotify. Yeah. But
Sweet.
I listen, yeah, I listen to that every week or every other week. I usually wait until 2 or 3 episodes pile up and then I listen to all of them together.
Hmm.
But well, that seems to be all that we have to talk about this week. Thank you to anybody who joined us, like our faithful ride or die Ronald, and anybody else who is joined us live, and anybody else who, you may be lurking out there and decided not to comment, or anybody who watches this later and decides not to comment. But thank you.
Anybody who watches this later and you're looking for something to comment, just name something random and call it a snood. Snickers are now snoods. Just pick something.
You
Pick
are a
something.
weirdo. My daughter is a weirdo. But thank you for joining us. I am at the end of my coffee cup now.
Ooh, I'm at the
So
end of my tea.
I'm at the end of my coffee cup. So I guess it's time for me to do some actual work today, leading into the weekend. But again, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say, Artemis?
Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Ring that bell. Leave a comment about a snood. That's
That
it.
that's it. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
I gotta turn off my space heater. My real house heat is on now, and I'm so surprised. Like it kicked in so fast, and my room is so